This is how they're manipulating statistics. And there's that famous expression, there are lies, there are damned lies, and then there are statistics. Muslim grooming gangs have been found in over 50 cities and towns in the UK. In this thread, I'll post articles from every location and examine the prevalence of grooming gangs within the Muslim community in each area. Some of these numbers are truly shocking. Rotherham, approximately 1 in 38 adult Muslim men have been convicted for grooming gang crimes on children as young as 11. In Rockdale, 1 in 137 adult Muslim men were convicted. In Telford, 1 in 8 were identified as suspects. In Oxford, 1 in 86. In Dewsbury, 1 in 44. In Halifax, 1 in 57. In Hulme, 1 in 11. In Derby, 1 in 117. In Newcastle, 1 in 246. In Keighley, 1 in 334. In Huddersfield, 1 in 105. Bradford, 1 in 231. Bristol, 1 in 206. Peterborough, 1 in 280. Oldham, 1 in 665. Coventry, 1 in 818. Glasgow, 1 in 310. Middlesbrough, 1 in 1,140. Burton-on-Trent, 1 in 355. Hull, 1 in 22. Aylesbury, 1 in 59. Nottingham, 1 in 1,820. Sheffield, 1 in 345. Leicester, 1 in 1,750. Ipswich, 1 in 315. Briarfield, 1 in 173. Banbury, 1 in 180. High Wycombe, 1 in 250. Stockport, 1 in 595. Ilford, 1 in 1,610, etc. So this is the prevalence of grooming gangs. Why are these so divergent? Like, if this is a problem, Muslims are just at such a higher rate than the general population or other populations. Why do you go from 1 in 11 or 1 in 8 to 1 in 2,000 being the rate? That's a huge divergence, or that's a huge gap between 1 in 8 versus 1 in 2,000. And part of it is just the way that he's slicing the data. Like, if you look at specific towns, like some of these are very small towns. Like the overall Muslim population in the town is just 500 Muslims, including adults, children. Some of these towns are maybe even fewer than 500. So when you have just 500 people, then it becomes a sampling error, too small of a sample size to make a generalized conclusion. This is how they're manipulating statistics. And there's that famous expression, there are lies, there are damned lies, and then there are statistics. You can do a great deal of manipulation by manipulating statistics, and this is a great example of this, because even if we assume that everything that he's saying in this thread, all the numbers are completely accurate, he's taking from reliable census data and reliable crime statistic data, conviction rates, whatever, still we would ask, why is there such a huge divergence depending on what town you are? If this is something endemic to Muslims or something endemic to Islam, as they claim, someone like Tommy Robinson or Douglas Murray or Elon Musk claim, then there should be more consistency. Not go from 1 in 8 in one town and then another town has 1 in 2,000. Well, what's the difference? So that's the one thing that we can immediately say about these statistics. Another thing that we can say about how statistics are manipulated, like let's just say that, because this is one of the claims that they make, that when you look at the rates of grooming, Muslims are grooming at 5 times the white population or 10 times the white population. So what does that mean? Maybe 1 out of 1 million Muslims in the UK are involved in some kind of grooming activity. Imagine 1 out of 1 million. Whereas with whites, it's 1 out of 5 million or 1 out of 10 million. So see, that's 10 times more. Muslims are grooming and raping at 10 times the rate of whites. This is a huge problem. This shows how dangerous these immigrants are. But you're ignoring the absolute rate. It's 1 out of 1 million. That is very small. So how are you smearing the entire Muslim community, and you're smearing all Muslim immigrants, and you're attacking Islam as a religion based on 1 out of millions? Would this be fair to do? Imagine you have whites in China. You have white immigrants, or expats as they're called, in China, in East Asia, in Japan. And statistically, those whites do commit more crime, violent crime, rape in East Asia than the native East Asian population. They're committing more crime than the Chinese, than the Japanese, than the Koreans, than the Thais. White Europeans are committing a higher rate of crime. And you can say, oh, look, when it comes to violent grooming or rape of East Asians, it's 1 out of 10 million. But the whites are doing rape at a rate of 1 out of a million. It's 10 times worse. So all of these whites coming into East Asian countries, we should consider them to be a threat. They're part of these grooming gangs. They're doing mass rape. We have to block whites from coming into our East Asian countries. These are criminals. How would white nationalists or some of these promoters of right-wing populism, how would they react to an argument like that? It's the same exact thing. It's the same exact argument. You're just manipulating statistics. It's a fact. 10 times. Whites are committing rape at 10 times the rate of East Asians. So East Asians should bar no more whites coming into our countries. Forget about vacation. Forget about holidays. Forget about being a passport bro and coming into China, Japan, Korea, Thailand. Forget about that. How would they respond to that kind of argument? And then furthermore, many of the immigrants that are committing the higher rate of crime in some of these Western countries, it's not a Muslim background. Many of them are coming from a Christian background. Many of them are coming from Latin America, or they're coming from sub-Saharan Africa, and they're Christians. Shouldn't they be accused of committing a kind of Christian criminality, Christian war against the secular West? They're coming in, these Christians, and they have a higher level of crime. They have a higher level of rape and grooming. And guess what? When it comes to Christianity, there is a just war doctrine in both Catholicism and Protestantism. So you have these Christians who are coming into the West. They're coming in from Latin America. They're coming in from sub-Saharan Africa, and they're committing these crimes at a higher rate than the native population. This is a Christian operation. These are Christian gangs who are waging a crusade against the secular West, the secular atheist West. Why don't we see that argument from Douglas Murray? Why don't we see that argument from Tommy Robinson? It's the same exact argument. This is what they say about Muslims.